the bar!
Oh, that was all just a dream. Thank God. And you know what? There is no way the quest is as bad as I make it out to be. And there's no possible way it could get even worse. Maybe I'm just an industry plant by Valve or Pimax, sent here to unfairly criticize Meta's superior CIA-backed personal data collection machine. Oh shit. And I think I've been unfair to it. I need to give this thing a second chance, and hell, maybe it's a good thing that despite me explicitly disabling auto-update, it updates anyway, because the whole point behind capitalism is to drive innovation, and our corporate oligarchs deserve their money, fame, and child brides because they make superior products. So shame on me for throwing a fit over Meta forcing an update on my quest when auto-update was explicitly disabled, because after all, consent doesn't matter when they have more money and better lawyers than me. A big, powerful company like Meta, with their 77,000 employees, obviously knows what's best for me and my VR experience. So it was in bad conscience that I made the thought crime of thinking my personal choice matters when a billion-dollar company is just trying to make my experience feel good. With that massive headcount, Meta must have thousands of people solely dedicated to quality assurance, so every minute detail of every product they offer has been combed over and perfected, which means all those so-called issues on my quest are intended behaviors, and they are actively adding more intended behaviors to my quest despite my protests to improve my experience. So I'm gonna go in with an open mind. I'm gonna put the headset on my head, and I'm gonna enjoy this experience. How? Just how? And I know what you're thinking. Wow, Happy, that's a really obscure intended feature you found. You're not the intended user, so you probably did something weird to deserve that. Uh-huh. Keep telling yourself that. And here's the best part. That wasn't even the intended feature I've been experiencing over and over while using this wonderful piece of technology. It just randomly did that while I was trying to record B-roll. What a wonderful appetizer of what's to come. But since last month, every single time I wake my Quest Pro from sleep, and I have to say this again, every single time it's awakened from sleep, it loudly and abruptly plays this soothing audio, before randomly cutting itself off with an obvious crackle, and it waits just long enough for you to think its tantrum is over before it cuts the audio right back in, repeating the process over and over. And I mean, that's an embarrassing intended feature for the menu music to cut in and out like that. But it doesn't stop. I'll open Virtual Desktop and the noise doesn't stop. Connect to my computer and launch Steam VR. The lizard people are still singing in my ears. Even after I'm in VR chat, trying to enjoy myself, the audio clips in and out, each time giving you just a little hope that it will be the last, but it's not. The only solution is to restart the Quest. And yeah, if I completely power off my Quest every time I use it and wait for it to boot up and load its glitchy, vibe-coded, unoptimized operating system every single time I want to play VR, it doesn't do that intended feature. But okay, open mind. I said I would go into this with an open mind. I'm just not using it right. In this modern convenience economy, how dare I use a buggy open beta convenience feature, sleep mode, which has been a thing in computers since Windows 98. Also, shout out to Google AI for making a claim, referencing a source for said claim, and of course turns out the intellectual property stealing machine was just hallucinating. Wow, what a beautiful nature reserve. We should pave over it and build a 600-acre AI data center. Can I offer you a bottle, and a rag, and a lighter in these trying times? Okay, I'm using it properly now. No more putting it on my head, booping the power button, and it instantly coming to life. I now have the privilege of staring at the Meta logo for what feels like an eternity. And once again, open mind, at least they haven't put advertisements on the boot screen for their creepy spy glasses that perverts and even worse, influencers will use to slowly degrade any semblance of privacy you thought you once had. Okay, it finally booted, but it's still a little groggy, so we gotta wait another minute before it's usable. But at least in the meantime, if you have the loft enabled, you get to enjoy what's so magical about VR, being transported into another world. And yeah, it's kinda just corpo slop futuristic city, but it's... Oh. I want to make this very clear. I really am trying to give this thing a chance. I'm trying to use it how the average person would use it. I'm trying different settings, looking at it from every angle, and I enabled the loft to try it out. Of course, encountered another intended feature and had to restart it. And when it booted, I had an open mind and I was in a good mood. And yeah, it's corpo slop, but I was looking around enjoying the view. And that was too much for the lizard man, because Mr. Cuck the Zuck unzipped his pants and slapped me across the face with the Megacorp App Store, which is funny because I'm an adult and he's a billion. Because of course, every single time you boot up a Quest, it opens up the App Store and forces it in your face. And I know Microsoft gets away with its OneDrive pop-ups and Windows Sleep Modes has its problems, but even they have the courtesy to only do it every few days, and you can disable it. There's no way to stop the App Store from opening every time you boot up your Quest, but the solution, of course, is to just sleep the Quest. Except now that my Quest updated, once again without my consent, it is incapable of waking from sleep without a game-breaking intended behavior. But listen, happy thoughts, open mind, happy thoughts! Meta surely is going to fix these problems ASAP. I mean, they have an 1,100-person strong team in Kenya, dedicated to watching your most intimate private moments you didn't even know were recorded on your Meta smart glasses. So I can only imagine how big the quality assurance team is. But I gotta give them time before the next forced automatic update. Like, for the last 4 months, my gallery takes several minutes to load, authentically emulating the 1990s floppy disk experience on my 2022 $1,500 VR headset. And despite all of the auto updates, they still haven't fixed it, but I gotta be patient, you know? It's just unreasonable of me to expect functional software from a $1.4 trillion tech company. As a consumer who paid for this product, I have to accept that I'm actually just a beta tester, subject to the whims of Mr. Wants to keep in touch with famous New York financier Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, look at this! These are prototype VR gloves EOZ sent me to test out. Of course, these have prototype problems, but when they work, they are awesome to use. Video on them coming soon. And these gloves have software and drivers that go along with them. Of course, this software that was developed by a team of 6 people at a small company that was previously only making tracker straps, not the trackers, the straps. That software must be unusable, right? No, it works great. The only issue I had was the on-screen instructions made something sound automatic, and it turns out I just had to press the button. It flashed the firmware on my Tundra trackers and gloves, all with no issues, and one button installed my Steam VR drivers. After dealing with the intended feature-riddled Quest for months, I had no hope for EOZ. Never made a software product before? The software's gonna be unusable. Nah, it's great! I bet you if you don't vibe code everything and actually have QA testers, you can make software that isn't broken. What a novel idea. Also, when using gloves, and when using normal controllers too, the Quest menu pops up constantly. There's a hand gesture to pull the menu up. Doesn't matter if you're doing that gesture, doing a distinctly different gesture with gloves, or using index controllers and moving your hands in front of your face at all. The Quest will think you're talking to it and assault your gaze with the menu. I swear, it keeps getting more sensitive. See hand? Pop up! I don't care if the Quest hand tracking isn't a perfect feature. I don't care if you're not supposed to use it. It was not marked as a beta feature. It was not marked as an in-progress feature. It's marked as a frickin' done feature. It's just broken. So first of all, this shit just doesn't want to work, which is fine. It's fun, you know, whatever. And second of all, it just slams the fucking bar in my face, and now I can't get out, you know, open my menu, which it's great at opening when you don't want it to, but okay, I want to open the menu, okay. Okay, menu's open, closed. Okay, why is this still on my screen? I'm playing VR, get the fuck out of my way! The far's in my fucking way! The UI is still up, even though it will not go away! Do I grab this? Nothing happens. It's just stuck on my fucking screen. Every time I use this motherfucking piece of shit, it just gives me more fucking errors. I'm just trying to play, and now the bar's on my screen. This is stuck on my screen, and it's overlaying my hands, even though I really don't want it to. Okay, do I open the menu? Okay, let me close it. It's still stuck there. Do I click on it? Oh, now it doesn't want to work. Yeah, go to... I go to use it and it doesn't want to work. Like, just... The more I use this thing, the more just intentional features it unlocks. I don't understand how you make a product this bad. If the feature's not done, because none of these features are done, you don't fucking mark it. Hey, listen, I wouldn't be complaining if these are marked as beta features, but they're not beta features. These are finished features, and they're broken. So I can't wait to see what intended features Meta forcefully installs on my poor 4-year-old headset. Maybe in a few more years, my Quest Pro will be old enough that the billionaires no longer want it. Expired, you could say. Just like how my tracking expires when I dance too hard, which I am mad about, but at the end of the day, I'm using it wrong, and it wasn't exactly designed to spin at Mach fuck, so I'll give it a pass. It's only ruined quite a few dances, but don't worry, it's only because I'm using it wrong, and if I use it as intended, it won't have this intended feature, right?
Sometimes foreshadowing.
But listen, I'm willing to put all of these wonderful intended features aside if it can complete one simple challenge, being used as intended. Well, Marky thinks this headset's intended use is her business, but maybe we shouldn't trust what billionaires think on that. Just look at what they think children are used for. I'm gonna play Blade and Sorcery until I encounter an intended feature, or until the battery dies, or I get bored. Surely, there is no way using this headset exactly as intended will result in any intended features. Let's see how this goes!
Sometimes.
Wait, I can beat them? Yo! All of your comrades have died! Stand down!
See, chat, that's the thing about these cards. If they don't get their energy out, they'll never go to f***ing sleep.
So, fun fact, it's not just software issues I've been encountering on my premium VR headset. Yeah, it's literally falling apart. It did this in the middle of a dance. That's the back pad. That's not supposed to be there. And if you're into electronics repair, you already know where this is going. Plastic clips. The back pad, which is one of the most important parts of a VR headset strap design and takes quite a bit of stress, is held on by 2 tiny plastic clips. And surprise, surprise, after only 3 months, one of those clips already broke. It's still there, but it's barely holding on, causing the back pad to snap off constantly. And due to the nature of brittle plastic clips, every single time you use them, it shortens their lifespan. So, it took 3 months to break one clip, and now that the back pad snaps off almost every time I dance, the last clip only has weeks left. But for the sake of transparency, my old Vive Pro I had the back pad break off when the plastic hinges broke, after using it for 3 years because those were hinges and not using plastic clips as bearing points. Meta, get back on your game because you're somehow making Vive's engineering look competent. So, how did my $1,500 Quest Pro fare with the challenge of being used as intended? Well, I gotta come clean. I was trying to get the controllers to overheat because that is a common issue. Me being an ADHD little fuck with too much energy wasn't the only reason I chose a game that involved exercise. I was hoping my hands would heat up the controllers. And after an hour of playtime, they were tracking noticeably worse. But they never gave me the too warm warning. I played till the battery died, recharged it, and while everything was still toasty from some fresh electrons, played till the battery died once again. And the controllers didn't overheat. Their tracking deteriorated as I played. But I can't finish the video by saying, lol, the controllers can't even stand up to intended use. Oh, did you think it passed the test? No, it didn't. It failed before I even opened the game. I had to suffer through the following events. Controllers wouldn't turn on. Conveniently, at the same time, the hand tracking threw a fit. When pairing controllers, the software lies to you, saying to hold the buttons for 4 seconds. It takes 20. Random sub 10 FPS frame drops because fuck you. Controller pairing fails multiple times. Left controller pairs starts updating. It didn't ask if I wanted to do this, by the way. It just did it. Right controller starts updating. Left and right controller finish updating. Proceeds to tell me to pair the right controller. You just updated it. What do you mean it's not paired? Ow, my voice hurts. Right controller takes multiple attempts to pair. But, oh, Steam, it can sometimes have pairing issues, right? I have index controllers I haven't used in years. I turn them on, and SteamVR opens up on a random computer because that's where it was last used, and Valve at least respects my consent. Hey, your controller should be updated. I don't care. Cool. But how'd the game play? It was fine. Some 15 FPS segments here and there. and then it lost tracking, which is fine, every headset does that. But when it comes back, my floor height was off by a considerable amount, and it actually affected gameplay. And I was forced to remap out my play space, and then it lost tracking again, and I at least found buried in a submenu you can just reset the floor height. But it did have an aneurysm when I was using my joysticks to do so, and during the second fit of broken tracking, the Quest randomly interrupted and asked if it could send 3D scans of the inside of my house to Meta. Surprisingly, no was an option, kudos, but I don't exactly trust them to respect it. But in their defense, they need that data. This tracking sucks. I can't fucking read this, let me get closer! Okay, you want me to agree to something and I can't fucking read it! Tracking broke one more time, then the headset just shut off. The battery died, but there was no 20% warning, no 10% warning, and especially no 5% warning, because it shut off while claiming it had 8% battery, which is a pet peeve, but on modern smart devices, it's not hard to calibrate the state of charge, so it actually dies at 1%. I charged everything up and played again because I just had to confirm there's no battery warning. Like, there's no way. Few tracking issues are expected, but I confirmed it. You will be in the middle of playing a game or a business meeting if that's your jive, and it will die with no warning. What a wonderful experience for a $1,500 VR headset, and quite a few people were pointing out that's inaccurate. It's been price cut to $1,000 and even $700, and you can snatch it for $400 or $300. And you're right, current used price should always be taken into account for product reviews, and especially comparisons. Imagine if I compared an original Vive with its $800 MSRP and a $100 deluxe audio strap to a modern $1,000 Valve Index. That's just not fair. But people did pay $900 for that Vive 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, when VR was in its infancy, that was worth it. That was a $900 experience for the time. And if you use one today, you can still feel a bit of that $900 experience. It's rugged, tracks well, and that deluxe audio strap is still a lot better than most modern headsets. I still know people who use original Vives to this day. And a lot of people paid $1,500 for their Quest Pro. I paid $1,000 for mine, and if you're lucky you paid $800 or got it even cheaper used. But at no point have I experienced a $1,500 product. This is just a Quest 2, whose original MSRP is $300, with bad face tracking strapped on and an even more uncomfortable head strap. And now it's just full of game-breaking intended behaviors. And at this point, they are intended, because with each, I will remind you, non-consensual update, no bugs are fixed and new ones are introduced. Real people paid $1,500 for this product, and this is the experience they get. An innovative, fragile design, not for the sake of comfort or usability, in fact, despite of comfort and usability, just to be different, and buggy software that continues to get worse. Speaking of money, after the Steam frame comes out, a lot of people are going to be selling their Quest Pros, and that used price is going to drop. And it's a bad headset, and you better pray Meta doesn't somehow make it worse, even though they have been, continually. If you can snatch one for $200, that's worth the risk for face tracking and wireless. Can I start the car from here? Go! And I didn't make this point well enough in my first Quest Pro video, but no, the Quest isn't a dancing headset. No headset is a dancing headset, but all these other headsets share a standard design that stays on your head extremely well, and turns out, because of that, they are great for activities in VR like dancing. Now, you would expect a wireless headset would at least copy the standard comfy design that's also great for activities, because people using a wireless headset are at least a little more likely to be active in said headset. I never expected the Q Pro to be better, but considering its features and price, it's unacceptable that's this much worse. Doesn't matter, that's not a dancing headset. If all your wired competitors hold up well to physical activity, the bar's been set, and you can't make a wireless headset that punishes its users for daring to move their head. So yeah, I swear, no more Quest Pro videos. I will make a video on how to lobotomize your Quest when I'm not depressed, wish me luck, but no more just complaining videos about this particular headset. Seriously though, Meta continues to add more bugs, and Mr. went to a private dinner with billionaire socialite convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is personally punishing me for my groundbreaking journalism. Thanks to the Patreon subs for supporting me. Love y'all. I'll be at the OffKaiCon in July, so if you're there and you see me, make sure to tell me in grave detail how often you grew to me. Turns out I asked Fancy too late to do a meet and greet at their booth, so oh well. If you see the hair, it's probably me. Sub to the Fancy, subscribe, like the video, and I hope I can post this on Pride, but happy Pride! Throw a brick at your nearest convicted sex offender and make note of their rights gender, and political affiliations. There will be a pattern. Seriously, don't do that, but it would be funny. Love y'all, bye! What the fuck are my videos anymore? My voice is gone, let's hope this is all usable.